so let's roll. The point of today's piece is to talk about the inspiration that we're doing a walkathon, and most people I think are familiar, but it's walking a distance, and for the idea, this one is a block or a mile, your choice, and raise pledges and money for the nonprofit. So for CMRS on September 18th, we're doing this walkathon at the Maple Grove Arboretum, a wonderful nature area, in the morning at 9 a.m. And it's to raise money for housing services. CMRS is doing wonderful work in this time of housing crunch, as in many times early on, we talked about an expectation of a tsunami, and it still could happen. And CMRS has been working diligently. So we're going to be raising funds to support that work. I would suggest that I'm encouraging you, each of you, to talk to your friends, your neighbors, family, acquaintances, colleagues, to support your participation in the walkathon, or to join you and as a pledger, gathering other people to pledge. We're hoping to raise at least $5,000 to $7,000, and the more work that could be supported. We have the site set up at either info@cmrsmn.org or at the website on the flyer, walkathon website, to click in. And once you're in, you will fill out information. It's a pledge of $20 to participate, but then you will be able to share a tile with other people who can then sponsor your walking, and you can on September 18th or that week of, to walk your block or walk your mile and cheer on CMRS Housing Services. I think, Sandy, you are probably going to be next.
Good morning again, and I'm just supposed to give you an update on what's going on in housing court now. Since the off-ramping and allowing people to start to file for eviction, but with the referees now having more calendars, bigger calendars, and more and more evictions for people are going to be unrolling every single day. And one of the nice things, though, for the rent help for funds for eligible folks for the COVID funds, they are asking the questions about a tenant, whether or not the landlord has asked that tenant if they have that information, and provide them with that information. And if that's the case and it's pending, they will stay the matter. They'll make it confidential and until it's resolved, or until June of 2022. So we've been seeing, Mark and I are in court quite a bit right now, because this all started in August, where the calendars increased, and the number of cases that are either dismissed because the landlord didn't provide all of that, and they're getting referred to resources. But there are several that I think we even saw yesterday where there was a stay to allow them in a settlement to apply, and made their record confidential so that they could be able to, if they needed to move, be able to not have that something that's going to bar them from moving into another location. So it's very busy. They've added another calendar so far between CMRS and CRC, who partner in this court. And so we had three calendars this week. We took two and CRC took one, and they've doubled the number of cases that are on a calendar. So it's very, very busy. It's all virtual, but it's nice to see we have a definite feel that they're being very careful to make sure that somebody gets that information about being able to recover and if they're eligible for funding. But it needs to be more upstream. I'm really glad we're doing an effort that says let's take a minute and pay attention and support this, because it isn't all clearly easy for tenants even to get into the courtroom. We've had many who try to call in and all of a sudden they're not there, and it's a default that gets entered on behalf of the landlord. And so the virtual nature of this time, be nice to be able to get to these people earlier. And I know that we are making that effort, but it's definitely growing in eviction numbers. So I don't know when or if that tsunami will hit, but it's very busy. And the work that we do is going to be very important to have mediation in the mix beforehand and even at the time of court. And the court is, if it's contested, it is ordering mediation. And we've had several that have gone to mediation, and the trials got canceled and they worked it out. But that's something that is, I told Beth the other day, to get a sampling of what exactly is happening. We are, I think, in our fourth week of that. Is this the fourth week of August? So we'll probably be able to tell a little bit more what all is going the best, or what they can improve on. But that's kind of what's happening.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that you have all put in long hours, burn the candle at both ends. There's so many cliches I could use for this, but what you've really done is helped hundreds of families and Minnesotans get through this pandemic, work out their housing situation, pay back rent, work out the situation with their landlords. There's so much that you have done to just help people have peace of mind and housing stability during this pandemic. So on behalf of Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan and the whole team at Minnesota Housing, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for all you're doing, thanks for all you've done, and thanks for all I'm sure that you will do in the coming months. We so appreciate your partnership, we so appreciate your work. Thank you.
Hello, the 4th Judicial District, Referee Cedillos, and I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to thank all of you for your services to housing and harassment court. We realize this year has been challenging for all of you surviving the pandemic and taking all of the changes we've thrown at you with grace. Thank you for your volunteerism, your dedication to the restorative and transformative power of mediation services, and your willingness to learn new technological skills.
We miss seeing all of you in person, and we miss those of you who have been unable to work at court appearances, but have pitched in however you have been able to. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thank you very much for being here, and I'll try and do a quick walk down our history and why the housing services are so important. In the past decade, the Board of Directors and CMRS has been looking at what would it mean for us to embrace our historical roots in both West African practices, community-based practices, and the civil rights movement that gave birth to community mediation centers. And what does that mean for us? And close to a decade ago, the Board of Directors rounded the strategic plan and the vision of the organization to be an organization of equity. And one of the things that means is we are looking in our community where there are traditional dispute resolution mechanisms that reflect some of the baked in racial injustices and are contributing to racial disparities. And one that emerges is the eviction process in Minnesota. So how might we provide an alternative way of resolving the disputes that arise between landlords and tenants, and then more recently between households and utility companies? The other thing that we have noticed is just how foundational housing is to everything. So one example, one of the schools where we were working with to have restorative practices take hold and talking about some of the barriers in doing so. And one teacher mentioned she had 2 students who finished the year with her, that started the year with her, only 2 students. And another teacher shared that he had 10 new students in his classroom in January. And we know that these schools are along the same place where we see high rates of eviction. Then I attend a meeting with the local city, and they're talking about how 50% of the police calls are to a single building. And we know from our work in housing court that that is the building that has the highest rate of evictions in the state. We know that these things are connected, and housing is so foundational to anything else that we in our community are trying to do. The other thing that we have learned is the way in which people access resources that are designed to help them address housing stability barriers is filled with problematic dynamics. And we realize CMRS has conducted 15,000 landlord-tenant mediations since we started, 15,000 conversations that we as an organization have had the honor to bear witness to. And we realize that we are sitting on a collective wisdom that we need to lift up and help the stories of the people who are swimming around in this brokenness, lift up those stories and try and shape the systems while at the same time addressing the person who is in front of us. So we're taking this twofold approach of trying to convene partners in our communities who will be needed to work together to redesign and reshape the ways in which we access and deliver housing resources and resolve disputes in the housing world. And then the pandemic arrived, and our work became even more urgent to try and work with households. We work with both landlords and tenants in this arena, and increasing our collaboration so that that burden of the resource runaround that falls on households in a crisis, we need to shift that burden to the service providers and away from the households, because people don't live their lives in silos. So that has been involving much more time invested in collaboration with other service providers to design new ways of streamlining how people can access and overcome the barriers to stable housing. So it's been a huge endeavor at CMRS, and we appreciate all of the different ways that people are supporting the work at CMRS. I'm very excited about this walkathon that Joan and Maya have been organizing, and an opportunity to be together and working on this cause, and to draw attention to the importance of CMRS being in this venue. So thanks very much.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today for a walkathon informational session. We greatly appreciate your support and are excited to host an in-person and virtual event this year. My name is Madeline, for those of you who might not know me, and I'm going to show you how to sign up. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. First step is kind of to pull up that poster that you should have received an email about our walkathon fundraiser. It's on September 18th, which is a Saturday, and it starts at 9 a.m. You can participate in person at the Maple Grove Arboretum Park at 9400 Fernbrook Lane North, or virtually. You're going to click on this walkathon website, which is going to direct you to our Do Jiggy website, which is a website that is created to host and to kind of as a fundraiser for walkathons in particular. Kind of going to scroll down, you can keep track of how much progress we've made so far, as well as if you keep scrolling, you can see different participants. So I'm signed up right here, as well as some of our staff members, as well as Joan Molinar, one of our board members. So click sign up. Also, we're below where you saw the participants' names. If there's anyone who's wanting to sponsor you, that's also where they would enter in that information. So once we click on sign up, It kind of gives you, once again, some general information about the event, the 9 o'clock short program. We're going to start the walkathon at 9:30. It ends around 11, and there'll be some coffee, water, donuts, refreshments provided after. So you're going to click on the participant, click the add to cart, proceed to checkout. And then it's just going to ask you a bunch of different information. And so it's kind of just the general information. Since I already have an account, I'm just gonna have to spell my name a little bit weird. So I'll just add a Z there. If you want to keep your last name private, up to you. I'll just click yes. So I'm gonna type in my email. Auto select it. So yeah, once again, some of this is just a little bit like a tedious aspect of filling out general information. And then you're going to scroll down to see your fundraising goals. So you can either do it via laps or the amount raised. I think for our fundraiser, we're just going to do the amount raised. So I'm just going to put $50 and click next. So I think once again, it's just going to ask for your information. Oh, whoops, I forgot. You can also click to sign up, so then you can create a login to come back to your registration history. And basically, if you just click that, you just enter in a password. I'm just going to skip this step for now because I don't want to create this fake account essentially. But I would encourage you, because that way you can also track your progress in terms of if other people are willing to donate to you, you can see donations as they come in. And then once again, just kind of fill out your mailing address. Okay, so. And this part is help us put 100% of your donation to work. So basically how the website gets its funding is through donations or tips essentially. So I'm just going to put 10% and then I'll click next. Oh, gotta go back here. I'm gonna check that box. So then at this point, you're going to enter in your credit card information. Part of the donation for being a participant is $20, which does go directly to CMRS. And then you can also have additionally different sponsors sponsor you, like family and friends, to walk. I know we already had, if you post on Facebook or social media, it's an easy way for friends just to donate. I know we've had some of our staff members already receive almost $100 in donations just from posting on Facebook. So a really easy way to just kind of get the word out, as well as if maybe you had some friends who want to join you. And so this is kind of just the payment process. Since I'm not entering any credit card information, after you would do that, you would just click the pay $22 and then you would receive your confirmation. So I think that's pretty much it. Honestly, pretty easy and straightforward. But if you have any questions at all about the sign up process, feel free to reach out to any of the CMRS staff members. You can either email me at Vista with a V, VISTA at cmrsmn.org, as well as info at, or just kind of call the CMRS general line and we'll be able to help you.